girls were like, is this real? Is this a story? Like, no, we didn't know.
One of the most iconic slaps of all time.
I wanted to be like Maryse, but then I was too nervous. You know, it's just...
Divas Championship.
I thought it was interesting. Maybe no one didn't want to see me. What's the draw in Cherry?
Welcome everyone to Ring the Belle. This is DS, and today, oh pretty baby, we are here with Cherry!
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm covered with cherry right here.
Love it. I love it. We're matching. Yes.
Since the beginning of this channel, people are like, Cherry, we gotta have Cherry. You're like a underrated fan favorite, and I'm so excited to have you finally here.
Oh, that's so sweet. I'm excited.
Today we're gonna talk about your iconic, your oh sweet time on WWE. Before talking about WWE, let's talk about your time in OVW. Cause you were in OVW before you joined SmackDown, right?
Yes, I kind of started, well, I was in wrestling prior to that, and I was one of those hardworking independent wrestlers, and I moved to OVW in hopes that I could train at OVW. Deuce and Domino were doing this gimmick there already, and Domino came up with the idea of having a girl on roller skates, like old school roller skates.
Did you know how to roller skate?
I roller skated when I was a kid.
Oh, cool. Casually.
He asked me on TV one day, and he says, hey, you know, we have this gimmick. We've been kind of kicking it around in class, and we're looking for a girl to be like old school 50s, like roller skates. We don't know what her name is. We don't know what she looks like, but we just know we want her on old school roller skates. And I was like, okay, tell me more. So after TV taping, he showed me a promo tape that they were working on in the advanced class. It was super close to when talent relations would come down and check people out periodically. And it was a Wednesday night. Johnny Ace and everybody was coming down to evaluate the talent on Tuesday.
Ooh.
It was like put together in a week. I went to the stores and I luckily found the skates at a local roller rink. And I was like, oh my goodness. That night we put our brains together and we were like, okay, what's her name going to be? Grease for Sandy or Outsiders for Cherry?
Oh.
So Cherry was way more wrestling-esque, I should say. So we just thought Cherry was better. So it was just all kind of created within a week.
Wow, you like roller skated right through that. And then like that gimmick just continued throughout main roster. There weren't much of a change.
No, I mean, when the office is down and I had already kind of prepared myself, but I wasn't a contracted guy or person. So the office was only going to be looking at contracted people. Deuce had said, you know, Al and Danny said, like, you know, they're only seeing contracted people and just hang tight. I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going to talk to them. So I was like, oh, who cares? I'll just clean my apartment. My boyfriend's coming in anyway. Like, who cares? Like, it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. So I got dressed anyway, and he calls me. Deuce calls me. He's like, get down here now. So I was like, oh my God. So I rush in, and I rush in so late. And I walk in the door, and the first person I see is Rip Rogers. And I'm like, he's looking at me like, are you kidding? You're late? And I'm like, Rip, you don't understand. Like, I didn't tell anybody. And I was like, I don't want Rip to be mad at me. And I'm like, oh my God. So I rush into the girls' locker room and I throw my stuff on. I get changed and I roll out. And again, we didn't tell anybody. So I roll out. And of course, Deuce and Domino are way across the Davis Arena. So I roll out and I'm like, everybody just stop and they all go, and follow me like the arena. And I yelled at Deuce and I'm like, stop me. It was just stunning to everybody. Like nobody, because we wanted to keep it a secret. So we went about our day. We did some matches. We cut some promos. They come out, they address the group. And thank you so much. It's been great. Da, 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 da. They give us some feedback. They give us some coaching. And then Johnny goes, Snuka, bring you and your group to the office. And you're like, oh. Johnny's like, love it. It's great. And he turns to me and he goes, and you can wrestle? Didn't even know it. Because we won't sign you to a contract. And oh my God, I've been there 4 months.
Wow. 4
months. And I got signed and it was the best feeling I've ever had in my life. That was my quick synopsis of OVW, which was, I had an amazing time there.
The class of OVW women were like awesome too. Who are some of the women that was down there with you?
Beth Phoenix, Shelly Martinez, Katarina Waters, Serena Deeb, ODB, oh my goodness, Kelly, Victoria Fox. Oh, we had so many.
Wow.
So many down there. So it was, oh my gosh. Maryse was down there. Rosa Mendez, she was down there. So we had, and OVW gave us such time to really kind of create our own stuff because we all were in it together. So it was really great to have creative control over
That's awesome.
each other and the team and OVW. It was just, we all came together really well.
You said you just got picked up after 4 months, but how long were you wrestling for before that?
Oh, a few years, like 6-7 years probably.
Just a few years. 6-7 years.
7 years. Yeah, I'm an independent scene, so I had kind of been all over and did my thing and kind of took a chance. It just all fell into place, and I'm thankful for everybody that kind of helped me get there.
I really don't think a lot of people know that you've been wrestling for 6-7 years before coming to WWE. That's amazing. But let's talk about the first day, the day that you debut on SmackDown. Tell us about that day.
Gosh, I remember getting the call. We were at St. Teresa's gym because we were doing an OVW house show. Mm-hmm. And Krista Joseph called me, and he was like, you guys are going to debut on SmackDown. Which is funny because, to back up a few, when we got signed, they wanted us to debut on Raw on Monday.
Oh, wow.
So we literally went on the road that weekend. Thankfully, it was a blessing in disguise. We were supposed to debut, Billy Graham, superstar Billy Graham, he was going to be on the show, and we were going to kind of crash the interview. Okay. It was the plan. But it never happened, which is great because in retrospect, we've been together for a week.
Right.
So luckily, by the time we stayed down in OVW, we really marinated. We got to know each other. We really perfected our characters. Paulie Heyman was the one that kind of made the dynamic between myself and the boys. Domino be my brother, Deuce be my boyfriend, and really marinated, which is great. And then we debuted a year to the day that Cliff and I got signed, January 19th in Little Rock, Arkansas. Yeah, we were super nervous. We knew we were debuting. We come to the arena. They have this pink Cadillac for us. It was insane. We were like, oh my goodness. And then to go out there and like be able to do our thing, and we were so comfortable with each other and knew exactly what we wanted to do. It was an amazing feeling to finally achieve that. And I thought our gimmick was just so unique and so fun. So it was nice to be able to bring that freshness to the product. So we were so happy.
I heard your big inspiration was Miss Elizabeth. Did that inspire how you managed?
I did. And that's such a great question. And thank you for bringing that up because she was such an inspiration to me. So a lot of the stuff that I did, I kind of thought back to how Elizabeth would do because the dynamic really was the boys were the bad guys and I was the innocent good girl. A lot of my mannerisms was from that. When we came up with angles and things to do in OVW, I thought of things that Elizabeth had done. She was just so elegant and so sophisticated, but yet so impactful in such a small way. If she wasn't there with Savage, it's like they meshed so well together. And I was just drawn to that, her elegance and their little subtleties. And I really wanted my character to kind of grow from that.
So many fun, cool things to talk about Deuce and Domino, but we have to talk about the theme song. It was so good.
We had a fun, upbeat theme song in OVW.
Oh.
So when we...
You didn't like it.
When we heard our theme song for SmackDown, we were thrown off.
Well, she's got highs and matching hips, lips like fluid dried.
And that was the first time we heard our song. And it was so slow, and we were so used to being, animated and just fun and upbeat and fast and stuff. And we were like, is that us? We didn't know it was us. We were supposed to go out. So we were like, oh my God. So it ended up working out. We were so used to just being so fun and out there that we were just kind of like, oh my goodness. But then it really did work. It's just like shows you the machine behind everything.
And you also got your own music later, which is not released, which I'm very upset about.
Yeah, I know. And Jim Johnston called me and he was like, I'm making a theme music for you. what are the color of your eyes? And he just kind of asked for my characteristics, which I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So yeah, he called me and just kind of asked, because it talks about my eye color and things like that. So that was super fun, and it was a little bit more upbeat than the boys. But
So I just found out today that your theme song was on Netflix Black Mirror episode.
I saw that. Oh my gosh, I listened to it. I was like, that's totally my theme song. Oh my goodness, it brings me back.
So in 2007 and 2008, when you were in that locker room, that women's locker room was very interesting locker room because, that was after the transition of a lot of the women from Diva Search coming in. So, they replaced a lot of the veteran women, and I think Victoria was the only one that was left there. There were also people like you that came from indie scene like Beth, Nettie, Melina, and you. How did these two group of women meld together backstage?
I didn't have any issues. I got along with everybody great. They were so kind to me. Tori was there when I first started. She wasn't there too long. Victoria was there. So the girls were great for me. I got really close with Layla, and then Natty came up later, and of course, we got to be very close. For me, I felt like everybody was in a different program, so we were a little bit on a different page, but not in a bad way. So I got along with everybody just fine. And they were so kind to me. Ashley was so sweet to me. She was like giving me outfits and stuff. She's like, oh my God, I have these cherries. Like, she was so nice to me. And then it was great when we started to mesh Raw and SmackDown, because then I got to see more people, and I got to see Beth and Rosa, and Maryse was on our team. And I already know Maria, because Maria came down at OVW a lot. So, and Maria gave me a lot of feedback on kind of how to do stuff, because I'm a normal girl. I'm from the Indies, and don't know how to do all of the posing and the, so, Maria was great on that. And Maryse is great at makeup. So she was always good about teaching me a little bit more about makeup. And, and I already know Kelly. I didn't know Brooke, but Brooke was great because I started to travel with them shortly. So yeah, I call the girls good.
Because all these gossip pages at that time were like, oh my God, Melina hated Candice, Natty had a fight with Michelle. But what you're saying is that you guys all collaborated together.
Yeah, I mean, you're sisters in a locker room. There's going to be little disagreements, but there was I never saw anything or was involved in anything that was too much. And Melina, I loved hanging out with Melina. She was great. She was on a totally different show, so I didn't get to see her too much. And Natty and I are very similar, and Beth and I are very similar. So we always gravitated towards each other, especially since I was with Beth in OVW. So, we're sisters. We're all sisters.
The sisterhood, yeah. When you finally got to join the Divas action in SmackDown, was through this Diva Contest where people were voting for their favorite divas every week, which was so random. What did you think of this whole contest?
I was surprised because I think the boys and myself were very particular about protecting me. They were the bad guys. I was a good girl. No one ever touched me. I didn't wrestle. I was always kind of playing it like, I don't know how to wrestle, but I love watching my, brother and boyfriend fight. So when they pulled me away from them, it was a little nerve-wracking for me because I'm so used to this bubble, and I wanted to protect our gimmick because I believed in our gimmick so much. So when they did that, I was like, oh my goodness. So I was like, I'm just going for the ride. I'm not, anybody. I'm just kind of like background girl here. I didn't think anything of it. When they started to do the dialing in and voting.
Right.
I was like, I didn't think anything of it, but then...
Our two finalists, Cherry!
Second place.
Yeah, well, when it started happening, I was like, Maryse was first one out. Maryse was first one out? I'm still, what? So I was like, whatever. So nobody understood whether it was fans really voting and they were going by what the fans were doing, or the office was kind of building this storyline. So we all went with the flow. All of us girls were like, is this real? Is this a story? Like, no, we didn't know. So I was just riding it out. I'm like, I'll get kicked out next week. Like, I'm just, whatever.
And the diva that has been eliminated is Eve.
Is this real? Is this a story? Like, no.
I'll never forget it. Elijah Burke pulled me aside because I think it was down to the three of us. And he goes, where's your head at? What's going on? Like, what do you think's going on here? And I said, you know what, Elijah? I said, either the fans are voting me in and they like me and they're keeping me this far. I'm happy with that. Or the office sees something in me and they want to push me further as a storyline. I'm happy with that. So either way, it's a win-win situation for me. That's how I wrote it out. And it was amazing to feel like people connected with that character, and I was able to enjoy myself and really kind of be there for them. Because either way, whether it was the fans that wanted me or the office that wanted me, I'm good with either. It was just amazing to walk out there and hear people scream for me and get excited. It's, you can't describe that. The fans just make it so worthwhile for you.
First of all, we all gotta figure out what the mystery of this, because is it real or not?
We never knew. We never knew.
But second of all, either way, it was real, because we could hear every week people cheering for you louder and louder. And this contest was only the beginning. Could you tell that people were like really getting behind? Because we as a fan could tell.
I did. And I was like, just to hear those people, it's like, they're cheering my name, like, it's me. And it's just me. It's not the boys. Like, it's just me. So I got super nervous because I'm like, it's all on me now. It was a great feeling, but very nerve-wracking at the time, because I'm like, this is it. This is gonna happen. It was both sides of the fence for me.
Yeah, because before Deuce and Domino, you were singles competitor in the indie scene, right? So were you excited to jump back into singles competition?
I was, but I was very focused on my character. So yes, I could wrestle, and yes, I knew all of the stuff that I could do, but I was very loyal to who she was, and who she was someone who couldn't wrestle. So being able to stay true to that, because I loved that character, I love what we created. It wasn't about like all of a sudden Cherry's like doing flips and doing all this stuff. It wasn't like that for me. It was nice to be able to be out there and be in the fans and stuff, but I had been removed from it for so long. It was definitely nerve-wracking. So when I did a lot of the stuff with Michelle, and it was good to have those confidants there and to bounce things off of, so I could ease my way into the spotlight, if that ever happened. But I had women I trusted that both sides had my back. So it was very relaxing and comforting to know that, regardless of anything, those women had my back.
Going back to being loyal to your character, I didn't know when I was watching that you had such a long wrestling career. Before this, you had to hide your wrestling ability a lot because your character was that you didn't know how to wrestle. Did you think that was a limitation? Did you want to show more?
I did, but I didn't want to do it. I wanted it to organically happen, which I liked kind of the same way when I had my match with Natty. It was, she beat me up, and then I kind of got really fed up with it, and I started to fight back. I wanted it to happen organically, because then I could blossom into this wrestler that could make a difference. So it was a lot of just, I didn't feel like I was held back. I just wanted to feel like I could do it organically. And that was what was important to me, so.
And that's probably why you got so much popularity, because everything was just evolving and it was organic until the point you got 2 action figures.
I know, I love it. And my family just die over it too. We were at a signing, Deuce, Domino, and I in March, and there was this little 2-year-old, and he was running around with my doll, and I was like, oh my God. I know, who would ever thought, so I'm thrilled I have them.
Let's talk about your evolution of Cherry as a singles competitor. We have to talk about your feud with Maryse. And there's 2 big things to talk about. One of the most iconic slaps of all time. The most iconic slap of all time.
Thank you. Just to roll that into, I taught Natty how to slap. No, I'm just kidding.
She's queen of slap now.
There's a funny story about Natty's slap. We'll get to that later. But I mean, it just made sense. The way the Diva competition happened, the way we organically rolled into having her feud with me just made sense. It worked really well. Maryse was great about it. I can't knock anybody for it. It worked well. And as you can see, people love it.
And she really paid back for that slap, because we have to talk about this. They played it like 4 times.
Yeah.
Kick to the eye.
It happens. What can I say?
Were you actually bruised?
No, it just chipped my tooth a little bit, but it comes with the territory. It's not that big a deal.
Because the week after, you showed up with this huge bruise.
Well, we couldn't really do anything with my teeth. We played it off as more of a eye thing, but in real reality, it chipped my tooth. Not much. It was just, it happened. So, yeah, no, she gave me a receipt. No, I'm just kidding.
We have to talk about your finishers, because people love your finishers. The Bulldog is one of the strongest Bulldog we've seen. And the Hammerlock DDT, the Cherry Pop Drop.
That's funny because I was going to call it the Cherry Pop, and Mick Foley actually asked me what I was going to call it, and I guess it got mixed somehow. He wanted it to be called the Cherry Pop, so I think they called it the Doo-Wop Drop. I'm not even totally sure, but a friend of mine suggested it that I used to work out with on the independent scene, Josh Daniels, and I was kind of grappling with what I could do, and he kind of came up with it. So I wish I hit it a little faster, but it was just something that I wanted to do different. But with the Bulldog, it was, again, going back to the simplicity of Cherry. I couldn't whip out all of these great moves like Sasha Banks does or Natty does. You know, I needed to keep it simplified. So that's kind of the stuff that I really kind of kept to when we would put together matches.
Because I learned that you actually know how to do moonsaults and everything. You do, right?
I do. I would do it on the indie scene. I did. Yes, I know how to wrestle. Well, I did. I haven't wrestled in a while. But yeah, I was dying to learn it. I was a little bit of a gymnastics freak when I was a kid, so...
Let's talk about your feud with Natty and the long-lasting friendship. We see your face on Natty's Instagram all the time.
Yeah, we're really close, and she's an angel. She's my best friend. I love her to death. If you've ever met her, she's just so incredibly genuine, incredibly selfless, giving. She's so sweet. Yeah, so Natty and I first met on her debut. I actually saw her. We did, when we were in OVW, they did a talent exchange. So the three of us went down to Deep South, and then they would exchange, I think the first time was the Major Brothers, and she and TJ were down there doing like a tryout at the time or whatever. So I met her down there, still fabulous. But she came in and they were getting ready to debut her. So they were going to do the whole Michelle storyline. So funny story, getting back to the slap with Natty. It's the last day where we announced the winner of the Diva competition. We're in rehearsals and, you know, everybody's out there. We're walking through like the steps and stuff we have to do. We're going through it. You know, Michelle wins. We all do our hugs and kisses, and Natty comes out and plows into Michelle, and she turns to me and honest to God, slapped me as if we were on TV. Loud as you could possibly hear it. And the place went silent. We're like, and I was like, I'm good. It's okay. I'm good. It was so hard.
It was a rehearsal.
It was so hard, but I have to give credit to Natty because anytime we ran through stuff, Vince always said, this is not just a run through. Do it. Do it like you would do it on TV. They want to see it. They want to plan for it. Just like the Diva competition when we did the obstacle course. We kind of just walked through it, and he got mad. He was like, no, do it like you're on TV. So Natty, being the ultimate professional, knowing the business, of course, I wasn't expecting it. So I was like, oh my gosh. But ever since then, I mean, we just got along so well. I mean, we just meshed really well together. And her debut in ring wrestling was my debut wrestling on Instagram.
Oh.
So we kind of had debuts at the same time. So
oh, nice.
There. Yeah.
That's a special relationship. You're like, I got slapped and we became best friends.
She, made me be her friend. So I said.
I mean, this SmackDown division was so strong. You've got veterans like you, Natty, Victoria, and you've got super rookies like Michelle McCool and Maryse. And then you finally got your Divas Championship. Is this something the management just came to you guys and presented it, or was there a lot of like fight and push behind the scenes?
I heard both. I think there was a lot of push behind the scene. I wasn't involved in it. Again, I was still kind of new. They were looking for something to, boost up the brand and boost up the girls. So I had heard that there was kind of talk of it. And then finally it kind of came about where they decided to do a Divas belt. And I don't know if anybody's told you, but that sucker was heavy. I saw it right before it was before Michelle and Natty had their match for it. And that sucker was heavy. So seeing people like Michelle and AJ and like these girls that have like, that thing is so heavy. Yeah, so we kind of knew something was brewing, and it was fun. It was nice to know that there was going to be a recognition, a representation of the girls on SmackDown and something to fight for. So
to this day, Divas Championship is a topic of conversation because of how it looks, you know, the butterfly belt. Be honest with us, when the girls and you saw it for the first time, what was your honest thought of it?
I thought it was interesting. Because I grew up on wrestling, so I mean, I thought it was pretty, you know, but I was just so used to that women's championship where it just was like smaller, feminine, not so feminine, like of the guys. So when I saw that, I was like, it's pretty. It was pretty. It was big. It was good looking. I was just like a little kind of like, I'm not really sure how to feel about that. So I mean, it's pretty big. It is a pretty big belt, so I was a little thrown off by the size of it. So, yeah, it evolved.
Did you want to be involved with the Divas Championship storyline?
Sure, but again, being so true to my character at the right time. As long as it was organic, I was glad with what Michelle and Natty did for it. It just needed to be organic, for me at least. So I wasn't like, oh, I need that, I need to fight for that, I need to pitch a storyline, I need to do any of that. It was just... I just loved my character. For me, it was always about entertaining. It wasn't about winning matches or anything like that. So that entertaining people and making it meaningful was way more important to me than having a championship belt.
Your last match at WWE, did you know that this was your last match? Did you know going in? No.
I did not. Yeah, no, I didn't. I mean, and then when everything hit with 2008, you know, I was shocked, you know. And I know what people probably think, but, you know, they let a lot of people go. And it just what it was. And, you know, I was heartbroken and pretty upset about it. But looking back on it, it was, you know, the best thing that happened, you know. So, you know, things happen for a reason and you just kind of have to go with the flow and feel good about yourself. And, you know, Natty was there for me and Beth was there for me. Victoria called me. Like, it just like all of my friends really gave me a lot of support. And, you know, regardless of whether I'm there or not, they've always been very supportive, and that's what matters, is having good people in your life. So
I know that this is not your favorite topic to talk about, but still to this day, there is this rumor. One of the reasons that you got released was because you didn't fit the diva look. And that is just not true.
No. Well, I mean, if that was being said in the office, nobody ever said anything to me. Nobody had a conversation with me. I was, you know... Everybody was always great to me. They never said anything to me. When I was told, I was just, they're letting people go. That's what Johnny Ace told me. I know what Johnny Ace said to me, and that's what happened. They let 2 weeks of talent go, and then another 2 weeks after that, they let a bunch of people on corporate go. So regardless of, people want drama, and I'm not going to feed into that. So I had a great time. You know, I did what I did, and it doesn't, you know, what is the fit for a diva? There's so many different levels and so many different beautiful women and talented women. It doesn't, you know, that was never said to me. I just think people are trying to bring up things that are just negative, and I don't like negativity. So,
and you know, when that rumor hit the internet, I think most people were just really upset at the rumor because it's like, that is so not true. And then there was this unreleased photo of your summer skin photo shoot that you looked so amazing. So we're like, oh my god, we need the whole release of this.
Thank you. That was fun. Natty and I actually had our shoot on the same day. So we were in Connecticut, funny enough, and I did my shoot one way and she went the other way. And it was fun. It was a long day. Again, I always say, like, I'm just a normal girl. I'm not used to stuff like that. So it was a long day. So we get back to the tracks where they used to have the old ring. And Natty's like, she said that she told him, like, I got strawberries, chocolate covered strawberries and champagne. I was like, I don't get that. She's just such a, yeah. So it was fun. I mean, it was, you know, they glammed, they had all these bathing suits, and I just got to pick what I wanted. And that shoot was actually at a park. And I was roller skating back and forth for them to get shots.
Wow.
Yeah, and that actually, those were my sunglasses. And I don't know how this happened, but that picture was used in a sunglass advertisement.
What?
I mean, WWE owned the right to it. So, I mean, if they sold it, I don't know. But it ended up being like a sunglass advertisement somewhere. And I don't know what. But someone sent it to me. I was like... I never saw it because all the summer skin shoot was still kind of in production, and they were taking care of the photo, so it never went out when I was still there. So mine never got released. But when I saw it, I was like, holy cow, that's like someone's using that to sell those sunglasses. Those were just my sunglasses I used today. So
we have the list of demand. We need that unreleased theme song that needs to be released, and we need the summer skin photo shoot that needs to be released right now.
And honestly, it's funny because I had multiple skates, and I think I left a pair in the girls' locker room because I only have one pair now, and I gave a pair to Domino because we did a signing where Ozzy Osbourne was there, and he signed my skate. Domino was so enamored, he was just such a big fan, so I was like, here, take this skate. So I think they might have them in the warehouse somewhere. So I don't know. I was like, I definitely had another pair of skates, and because I always left a pair in the container, the cabinet at TV in case, God forbid, something happens.
Since departure from WWE, we haven't really seen you wrestle or be involved with the wrestling shows. Why is the reason for that?
I was kind of hurt a little bit. I kind of needed to really process being let go. I would do a few things and, bless the fans' hearts, but some of them had some really kind of hurtful things to say, not meaningfully. They're just like, we like a big bone girl. And it just kind of made me sit back a little bit and kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. And I know that they didn't mean it in that way, but it really, processing it, being let go, and then these people are saying things, and you really have to just shut the outside world out sometimes, because people just want to get a rise out of you. But I needed to step away and just refocus on myself and get myself right and process it and get okay with it. So that's kind of what I did, and I just stepped away for quite some time and needed to figure out where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do. So I did, I stayed low profile, and then before I knew it, I just talked myself into the fact that maybe no one didn't want to see me. Because it'd been so long. So what's the draw in Cherry anymore? Because I was from there, I was signed from 06 to 08. So it was a lot of me getting in my own head and being my own enemy, I guess. That's kind of when I started to feel a little bit better. The boys were, okay with doing it. And then I got some people that were like, we want to see you. And I was like,
yeah.
So,
you do.
Yeah. So it built my confidence a little bit better because I just, when you're let go and you're in that arena and you're with something that you love so much, and then you just really have to process losing it and realizing, everything happens for a reason. I got to a point and the fans really tried to build my confidence back up, and it's like, I do matter, and I talk to the fans on Twitter a lot, and I have a lot of the fans that really reach out to me, and they're so kind, and it's like, wow, I did make an impact. I talked myself into the fact thinking I didn't. And then to really kind of hear words from the people that really enjoyed what we did, really kind of is like, oh, I want to be there for those people, so.
We are in the boom of women's wrestling, and we always talk about, oh, she's the next Trish Stratus, she's the next Sable, she's the next Tori, but we've never seen next Cherry because you were so unique.
Thank you. Thank you. I think that's great about the girls. Everybody is so very unique. So it makes it really entertaining.
And I think your character of being shy, but slowly evolving and finding that confidence really resonated with so many people watching you back then.
Yeah, I think so too, because everybody came out and they were rough and tough and ready to go. And, it was fun for me to watch the boys wrestle, but then I was kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't do that. It was different. And that's what people need to see, something different, and that's what all the girls right now are bringing. They bring those different elements that really kind of make that storyline. To have somebody that wasn't, I'm going to get in the ring and I wanted to beat Maryse's ass, but I wouldn't.
Beat Maryse's ass, but I wouldn't.
Beat Maryse's ass, but I wouldn't. Sorry.
Breaking character.
I wanted to beat up Maryse, but then I was too nervous. It's just, I don't think it was done in that sense. I think that there was shy girls, but I think Cherry just had a different aspect of that show.
Seeing Natty just flourishing in this women's evolution time, does that kind of give you the itch to go back and wrestle and show that moonsault that you never got to show?
No, would it be right for Cherry to just do the moonsault on anybody? Yeah, it's fun watching Natty. Natty is talented. She's impressive. She's it impresses me every time I see her. I'm like, how do you come up with this stuff? Like every time it's something new. It does make me really excited, and hopefully one day I'll get that invite to that Royal Rumble, and because it's always exciting, whether it's the guys or the girls, to see someone new. They're on the edge of their seats waiting for a surprise appearance.
If you rollerblade through the Rumble, that would be freaking amazing.
Listen, there was a lot that Cherry could have done, especially with the boys, because we did a lot at OVW with me and the skates and all that good stuff that I would love to come back. I know the boys are down, so.
Is there someone in the current locker room that you would like to get in a little fight with in the Rumble?
Oh my gosh, I love Sasha Banks. Love her. So talented, so amazing, but I'm really excited to watch Rhea Ripley. Big fan of hers too, so that would be good, but I'd love to take Natty on. She deserves a little slap back, so.
Get ready with your roller skaters and get your bubblegum chewing going, so because Cherry's coming back. Is there any other way for us to connect with you?
Yes, so I am on Cameo, so cameo.com/DDC Chick. So you can get me on Cameo, and I'm so excited to be on there. So I'm so excited to be able to talk to my fans again, and hit me up with any questions that maybe I didn't cover here today. Anything you want to ask me, my predictions for WrestleMania, what Natty's like in real life.
What's the one last thing you want to tell your fans?
You guys have meant so much to me. I really did it for you guys, and I heard every one of you when I walked out into that arena, and you really pulled me out of a place where I needed to find myself and know that me and my character mattered, and what I did with the boys and the boys did was just very entertaining, and you guys really enjoyed it. So, we were the real last true gimmick, should I say, and it was fun to do, and you guys really made us come to life knowing you were behind it. So I love the fans so much.